Okay, where we at? All right, welcome back. Welcome back, people. You know what time it is. Back at you like I never left. We had the episode last night previewing the big fight between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia that happened on 420. Haha. And man, look, Jerron Boots Ennis was asked what he thought about the weigh in, and Ryan Garcia being overweight and whatnot. And a lot of people said that they don't really think it made a difference. But what he said and what stuck out to me was that I don't know what will happen, but we're going to see something weird tomorrow night. And sure, boy, did we. I didn't get a chance to see the fight live. I just watched some clips of the replay, some of the highlights, and from the get go, Ryan Garcia, after he paid their team, I guess he made good on honoring his handshake bet of paying them $500,000 for every pound that he was overweight. So I assumed that he gave them the 1.5 mil. And before the fight, he said, "I gave you guys the 1.5 mil. Now hold up your end of the bet and meet me in the middle of that ring." And it seemed as though Devin Haney obliged. He met him in the middle of the ring and he fought flat footed. And he got caught. That's exactly what happened. He met him in the middle of that ring, flat footed, and he got caught. And from that point on, it was just inevitable how that fight was going to end up. He got caught with that left hook, the same left hook he said that he wasn't going to get caught by, the same left hook that he said he could see coming from a mile away was the same left hook that ultimately opened up the button and hurt him for the first time in his career in that fashion, where it wasn't the end of a round. No, it was it you had time left on the clock and you had to survive. You had to hold on. The referee, especially in the seventh round, really gave him too much time to get up from that knockdown. He if he didn't give him that much time to get up from that knockdown and I think recover a little bit more, Ryan Garcia maybe stops him in that seventh round from what I can see. But either way, a couple of things I talked about in my video. And I picked Devin Haney to win by decision. I didn't see a knockout coming, and I mentioned that he doesn't have enough power for that. But I thought he would win by decision if he used the jab, used his feet, and used his ring IQ, i.e., the defense. And the defense is always there, but the ring IQ was not because to me, he made the mistake that Sugar Ray Leonard made in his first bout against Roberto Duran, where instead of coming out and boxing, he allowed a lot of the pre-fight nonsense, all the war of words to get inside his head, and he came out with ultimate machismo, wanted to stand flat-footed in the center of the ring and go toe-to-toe with Roberto Duran, which was a mistake, and it plays right into his hands. Now, I'm not trying to compare skill levels or resumes or fighters. I'm just trying to make an analogy between the two scenarios because they're very similar, right? And then Devin Haney, instead of boxing, fighting smartly, using his jab and fighting from the outside, though it may be boring to some and people may hate that, it's effective. Use stick and move, use that jab. Instead of doing that, he came out macho, really wanting to end this man. He said it before the fight, and in his heart of hearts, I think he felt that way. And after the fight, he said, "I was sleeping on him in the first round." Completely unacceptable. If you're sleeping on your opponent in the first round, you could take my prediction and every prediction of people across the internet and just throw it out that window right over there. Just toss it out. Because once you get into that mindset of where you're not taking a guy serious, this is how knockouts happen. Because the beauty of boxing is all it takes is one punch to change the outcome of the entire fight. Second point I want to make going into this fight, and first off, I want to give Ryan Garcia his credit, and I'm gonna give you my reasons why. Okay, first, he went out and did exactly what the hell he said he was gonna do. Now, one thing I will stand by is I said he wasn't crazy, and I made a video, 2 or 3 weeks back, talking about is Ryan Garcia ready for this fight. I did not like the antics then, and I reiterated I don't like the antics now going into the fight. However, what I did like is he was training. If you look at the training clips alongside all the bull crap, all the drama, all the theatrics, and you see the progression, the jab getting sharper, the defense getting sharper on the mitts, the feet looking better over time. Although I didn't think he would still win the fight, I thought that he was a live wire. I thought he was a live opponent. And for those that were saying he had no shot, utterly ridiculous. He's fought the dude 6 times, man. Even if he's been lollygagging and dilly-dallying around at this level, he knows Devin Haney to a certain extent like a close cousin in terms of boxing because he's seen him and vice versa. So that's what made this fight a little unique. So even though I thought Devin would win, to think that he was going to blow Ryan out the water, I looked at the fight that he had with Duarte previous to this fight, and though it wasn't the level of experience that I thought that Devin Haney had against Lomachenko and Regis Prograis had, I thought that it was still a great experience for Ryan, and why I thought he would lose by like a round or two. And honestly, in this fight, um, I have to look at the full fight, but it seems as though there were a lot of rounds where he allowed Devin to get some punches off and steal rounds. Whereas if he kept his foot on the gas pedal, it could have been a majority decision instead of a. It could have been a unanimous decision instead of a majority decision for Ryan Garcia. So the things that I like from Ryan, using that left hook and then just cutting off the ring and continuing to apply pressure and being smart about it. Instead of going in reckless like he did against Tank Davis, he was smart. When he had him hurt, he tried to maximize damage, and then he pulled off when he thought necessary. Whether right, wrong, or indifferent, he showed a certain level of patience and discernment that he did not show in the fight against Tank Davis. The second reason why I want to give Ryan Garcia props is because he came in overweight, and nothing's going to change my opinion on the fact that that was completely unprofessional, unprofessional and disrespectful to the sport. And I hope he never does that moving forward again. I really don't. Like it's not good. It's not cool. And secondly, he came in overweight. However, Devin Haney's team, they didn't penalize him in the way they should have. And I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about with the rehydration clause, whether that be in the contract or sometime after. They had to rework and renegotiate the contract. And they should have asked for a rehydration clause, in the same vein as what Tank Davis asked for of Ryan Garcia. Okay, if you want to come in 3 pounds overweight, then you can't rehydrate to more than, I don't know, 10 or 15 pounds past the agreed upon weight limit come fight night. If you weighed in at 143, you better not be over 150 or 155. But they didn't. And I think part of the reasoning for that is Devin Haney is a weight bully. He blows up after fights. Now, I was being pretty generous when I said that he's probably going to blow up to 154, 155, but really, the dude blows up like 15 to almost 25 pounds at times. He did it against Regis Prograis. He blew up like, 20 to 25 pounds overnight. I think he was a $160 or a $165 come fight night when he was fighting Regis Prograis at the 140-pound weight limit. Now, Regis Prograis probably went up to a $155, maybe, something like that. But you're talking about a guy that has 10 pounds on you, as well as just being a big, sturdy dude. So that's why, in my opinion, he did not ask for the rehydration clause for Ryan Garcia, even though he obviously came 3 pounds overweight and shotgunned the beer just for theatrical effect. And that took away any advantage Devin Haney had size-wise. He's already not a big puncher, so whatever advantage size or strength-wise he was going to have, that pretty much went out the window. Because Ryan Garcia, I thought he was going to come in big anyways, but as soon as he missed weight, I'm like, this dude's going to be huge, okay? But, Devin Haney and Bill Haney, they accepted those terms. So that's on them. To me, that was just a foolish decision to go into that fight because look at this. At that point, you can't pull out of the fight. Too much money. Logistically, it's a disaster trying to cancel that fight. So you should have put a stipulation that he couldn't blow up to be a middleweight or, damn near super middleweight if that's how heavy he was, whatever the case may be. That's on them. Because I think Ryan Garcia, he learned a very significant and painful lesson versus Tank Davis when he didn't let him rehydrate more than 10 pounds in their fight, because he came in severely weight drained, and I think that's a big reason why that body shot took so much out of him. Um, and people wanted to make it seem as though he quit. I mean, that's subjective. Some people will say yes, some people will say no. But I looked at it as a guy that was a dead man walking, and I mentioned that in my video. And I think he learned from that. So he was like, forget it. I don't care about the title. I want to come in and just beat this guy. For me, that's not the way I would operate. Coming on weight, if you say that's what you want to agree to. But look, Devin Haney, I think they were confident enough where they were like, whatever, take your 3 pounds. We're still going to beat the fuck out of you. And damn, was that an underestimation, because they both blew up to a similar weight, probably, right? But the difference is Ryan Garcia didn't have to cut those last 3 pounds, those last 3, 4, 5 pounds to get to 140 or slightly under 140. Devin Haney did. And those last couple of pounds as you're approaching that weight, let's say 143, 142, 141, each pound that you're losing gets more and more painful and excruciating. And it takes a lot out of you. So, yeah, you're rehydrating come fight night. But the one thing I mentioned, and this goes back to the Spence video, is the punch resistance is something that you can't bring back overnight. Yeah, you can rehydrate the fluid in your muscles, but you can't rehydrate the cerebral spinal fluid in your skull, and that's the shock absorber for your brain. So when you have less fluid, less of a shock absorber, well, guess what? You have a higher propensity for adverse concussive effects, and that's what happened. I mean, from damn near from round one, it was almost eerily similar to what we saw with Earl Spence. Now, Devin Haney got hit with a harder shot, but Earl Spence, he got hit with a jab and it put his ass down. Devin Haney got hit with a hook. Jorge Linares hit him with stronger shots, and I'm not even talking about the one that had him on Bambi legs in that 10th round. And he held up better against Linares. He got hit pretty hard against Vasil Lomachenko. He's been hit very hard, even in addition, not often, but in addition to those times he got really hurt, and he didn't have the same reaction. But he did have that reaction versus Ryan Garcia in the first round. I could see if it was the fifth or the sixth as fatigue starts to set in. No, from round one, boom, hurt, crazy, right? I think a part of that is due to punch resistance, and I think that that's something that was a calculated risk that they took, and I think it's a certain level of arrogance, and that was confirmed by him saying that he didn't take him seriously after the fight. He slept on him in the first round. So you're going in there, you're thinking that you're underestimating the loss of punch resistance, and you're underestimating your opponent, even though you know this guy is out for you. They were both serious about this fight. At least I assume so, from what they were saying, how they were acting, their body language. They're long-term rivals. They were both serious. So I did not think that Ryan Garcia was as serious as Devin Haney. However, it seems as though the opposite was true when it came down to fight night. I think what caused that was all the theatrics. And you can either call Ryan Garcia a genius or an idiot savant for, I guess, playing the mind games with Devin Haney, but it appears as though it worked, because I think he lulled him to sleep, both with the weight issue as well as with the attention to detail issues, and how serious he was being on social media all the time. And I think that Devin Haney fed into that instead of just staying focused on what he needed to do. From the moment that he put his hand on his neck and pushed him back, that was the moment where he allowed Ryan Garcia, in my opinion, a chance beyond just having a puncher's chance. He made it a mental war in addition to being a war of physical attrition. And that's a war that you're going to risk losing against a guy who's a live wire. So that's my thoughts on the fight. I would love to see a rematch at either 140 if they both can make weight without all the antics and theatrics, or 147, probably the weight that they should be at. And I'll end this off with a point that I if if these fighters were fighting at the natural weight that they walk around with, where they should be fighting at, we wouldn't be talking about any of these things. Look, some people are going to agree with me, some will disagree, but if you come in on fight night weighing 160 pounds, guess what? You should fight your ass at 160 pounds, instead of fighting at 140 and beating up on smaller guys. I don't like that. That's what we call weight bullies in the sport. Stay at 160 and fight there. And then we'll see how good you really are. Are you a champion, or are you just an average fighter who's winning because you have a size advantage on your opponents? So, that's my thoughts on the matter. But regardless, Ryan Garcia changed the trajectory of his entire career with this fight. A career defining fight as it stands right now in the present. And ironically, pun intended, he smoked Devin Haney. And then he went and he's living his life after. I will say this though. Surround yourself with people that you can trust, that care about you, and are going to tell you the things you need to hear about yourself, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because this moment can define his career in a good way where he grows and uses this as a springboard towards greatness, or it could define his career in a negative way where he gets wrapped up in the success, the momentary, the temporary, the transient, the fleeting success he's having right now, and allows a lot of the antics and the outside of ring things to affect his inside of the ring performance as he starts to step up in competition level at these higher weight classes. Because I have a hunch he's probably going to head up to 147, because 140, he obviously can't make the weight, right? Or it'll be very difficult for him, not comfortable. So you're going to have some killers up at 147. Like you're talking about, Jerron Boots Henderson is sitting up 7 pounds away from where you fought now. So you're going to really have to get yourself in gear, because you got this win against Devin Haney, but you got some killers awaiting you. Guys that you're not familiar with. Guys that you haven't fought 6 times in the amateurs. Guys that you're not going to be able to get into their head because you don't have that previous history with them. And they're going to be focused, not be getting caught up in the antics, and they're going to really come in there to mess you up, and they have the skills to pay the bill, and they have power along with the speed. So, just food for thought. But let me know what you guys think, and congratulations to Ryan Garcia. And we'll see what things hold after that. Now I'm looking at the thumbnail for another video here, and I'll say this. I'll say this. You have some people saying, "Hey, it wasn't an even playing field." I already addressed that. But you also have some people that are saying that it just Devin Haney wasn't the goods and he was always a fraud, this, that, and the third. I don't think that either. And this is one of the reasons why fighters are afraid to lose their O, because as soon as you lose that zero, now everybody in their mind comes out with every explanation under the sun about how you never were who you said you were, and I always knew he was a fraud, when 5 days ago you were saying that he was one of the best pound for pound fighters on the planet. So like, we need to keep things in perspective here. Like, let's enjoy the moment. Let's talk about everything surrounding this fight and what happened, but let's keep things in perspective. And like I said, I want to see a rematch at some point moving forward. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think, and catch you on the next one. We're going to get, no, actually, we're going to get towards the next fight, which is Fury and Usyk, and then after that, Beterbiev and Bivol. So be on the lookout for that. Now, I'm out for real. Talk to you later. Peace.